Good morning, multiverse. Welcome to Back of the Cereal Box, the pop culture show that celebrates the fun of the Saturday mornings of our youth while navigating adulthood today. I am your host, the prophet of pop culture, John Pyka. You can call me Johnny Beyond if you dare. And spooky season is behind us, Scoobtober is behind us, and November is Godzilla and Kaiju Month. Up from the depths, 30 stories high, breathing fire, he stands in the sky. And we are talking about Godzilla 1954, the movie, as part of our Kaiju Krunch Matinee movie series during November. I'm so excited. And to help us out, and by the way, we are called Back of the Cereal Box because when I was a kid, we didn't have smartphones or iPads or tablets at the table on Saturday mornings. We were literally reading the back of the cereal box. That was our newspaper. That was our social media. And that's what we were doing in between cartoons, comic books, kaiju movies. So jump in your pajamas, grab a big bowl of cereal, rush down to the virtual rec room, and join us to celebrate the Saturdays of our youth. And to help us do that, it is our regular co-host, your wife's favorite redhead. She is a cosplayer, artist, face painter, actress extraordinaire. She is the one, the only, Kindred Ivy, Aubrey Cavitt. Good morning, Aubrey. Oh, you're muted. Aubrey always forgets to hit that mute button.
Yes. Try to be not too noisy in the morning. Me and my notes are ready this morning in our pajamas.
I love it. She's wearing a beautiful satin robe. Phenomenal. And by the way, I am wearing my pajamas, but I'm also got my sweater over top because it is freezing cold in Middle Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And apparently my family likes it that way in the house because it is 52 degrees in the house. It's way too cold. Anyway, also welcome our third co-host. She's Shessocereal. She is a fan of cereal, snacks, pop culture, comic books. It is from Shessocereal, Jenny.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning, Jenny.
Good morning. Wake up call, everyone.
Isn't it fantastic?
I love your pajamas.
How are you doing this morning?
The sassy black, like that right there. Like I'm honestly, like I'm feeling that.
And
if you guys could see this, it looks very nice. I'm lucky I get to see.
Yeah, very comfy satin pajama robe. We love it.
Your robe looks good too, both of you. You look like you're nice and cozy. I just can't do the fuzzy. Yeah. I like the warm, but I can't do the fuzzy. It's just too warm for me.
That's all right. Aubrey, if you could do one thing for us and just bring that mic a little bit closer if you can. We're getting a lot of room echo on your mic, but that's okay. So, ladies, first question of the morning. It is Saturday morning. We're sitting down with big bowls of cereal in our pajamas. So I have to ask, what's in the bowl? And this morning, I'm going to be sharing Sugar Cookie Toast Crunch because, listen, it's November 2nd. It's Godzilla Day. And it's also, for me, the first day of Christmas.
Oh.
So the Christmas cereals are out, and I have been dying for this. I have been waiting 2 weeks to share this. This is my favorite annual cereal. What about you, ladies? What's in the bowl?
I got what was left over of my Cascadian Crunch.
Okay.
It's good. It's nice. Meh. Not bad though. I am enjoying it.
So apparently
I'm jealous of this sugar cookie that you got.
Have you had it before?
I have, and it's so good. I didn't get it yet this year.
I know. You know, it's.
Ooh, is that a fancy? I'm watching.
Oh, okay. Aubrey is going to pour.
Fancy
Look
glass.
at this. She's gotten all. She's gone out. She's got the fancy satin robe. She's got the fancy glass bowl, the carafe for the milk.
That was so nice.
Oh my gosh. Look at this. Talk about navigating adulthood today. What do you got, Aubrey?
So this morning I am trying yogurty oat clusters, banana cream.
That sounds really good. I can't have
Backdrop
that, but that sounds
totally
really
took
good.
it out. The box is totally, and it's not green. That's
I know.
funny.
I don't understand that. It's yellow, right?
Yeah, there's yellow on the banana cream part, and it seems to be getting. It seems
That
to be
happened?
Yeah, that
Me with the backdrop. With my eyes, it kept
Right?
flipping my eyes. I was like, "What's happening
Hold on.
here?"
Let's see if I can just pause my backdrop for just a minute.
Yeah.
My virtual backdrop, which is just my green screen, for just a minute.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. So these are the yogurty oat clusters,
really
banana cream. And I just opened these because I've been waiting, because I was like, well, I don't want to be the kind of person that, can't show it off. If we have special sponsors, I don't want to have the wrong brand. But you know what, guys? I really wanted to try this for a while.
That looks really good.
So
I would have tried it too.
I like banana.
Yeah.
I like banana in things. I'm one of those weirdos that likes banana milkshakes.
No, I used to love banana milkshakes with maraschino cherries.
Okay.
That
Sounds like a banana split.
go-to.
That
And
sounds
it
like
was amazing.
I love bananas. I don't like banana flavored stuff. I don't like bananas in stuff. I want to eat that banana plain. So
Hey.
Well,
Jenny, do you have a clear bowl also this morning, Jenny?
look at
I just
that.
tried this for the first time. I'm like, maybe we'll see the cereal this time.
Had I known.
Is the
Had
only
I known.
right?
All right.
Mm.
Tell us what you think,
Mm.
Aubrey. Now, is this one that you would make part of your daily routine that you will finish?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not too sweet, just enough banana. Really good crunch. You probably want to eat this fast though, but we'll see. We'll see throughout that show if it goes smushy or not.
Yeah.
So
So
it's going to be a good topping.
a good topping.
Custards, pudding, on
Yeah.
ice cream.
Or we use cornflakes as breading on like chicken tenders.
Chicken, yes.
Yeah. So that could be
That could
kind of
be-
cool.
Yes, it could. Oh my gosh.
What about
It's very
using-
banana. It's very banana though.
well,
I like
but
banana.
when you cook it,
Real banana.
when you bake it, excuse me, little piece of cinnamon toast crunch
Choking.
went the wrong direction. When you bake it, probably that banana flavor gets diluted a little bit. But what about the banana Special K flakes as a crust, as a breading on chicken tenders with a really good spicy peanut sauce?
That could be good. Or you could just do chicken and waffles like Bananas Foster style.
Ooh. Oh wow, that's an amazing suggestion.
Sweet and
If
savory.
you're on a diet, you could try to turn this into like a pancake. Like crumble it up and make it like into a pancake batter.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It tastes that good. So we're liking this a lot. All right.
All
But
right.
it gets mushy fast.
Oh,
Well-
they got smush.
Mhm.
What's the first ingredient?
Mm.
Just like a cornflake?
That's a good question. Whole grain wheat,
Oh,
sugar, and rice, and natural sugar.
that's surprising.
All right.
Okay.
And
that's
banana
not bad at
chips,
all.
actual banana chips.
Oh, I love that there's banana chips.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Makes it even nicer.
So out of 5 bowls of cereal, Aubrey, what will you give this?
Because they took and put whole banana chips on there and they taste good, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5.
Awesome.
This is
Awesome.
deserving.
And remind us, Jenny, what the Cascadia Farms is. Out of 5
Oh.
bowls of cereal, what do you give it?
I'm going to give the Cascadian Farms just like a 4 because it's just, it's your simple cinnamon toast crunch, but it's organic. I mean, maybe it gets a 5 for being organic, but the box is just kind of, Like, I'm a kid. No, my mom's making me eat the organic cereal. I'm not even having fun. Like, come on.
Yeah, so not much on the back of your box, and same thing with me, Aubrey. Just a big
that's cute.
cinnamon toast. I mean, it's fun, but I mean, there's nothing to do.
I do want to try the other flavors though. I want to try the chocolate and the berries, the new one.
Right.
Oh, there's a
they got freeze-dried strawberries in there. So
now, out of 5 bowls of cereal, Sugar Cookie Toast Crunch loses a point for nothing cool on the back.
Right. It needs something fun. It's Christmas.
Yeah. However, General Mills has always knocked Cinnamon Toast Crunch out of the park. It's, right there tied with Fruity Pebbles for me as the greatest cereal of all time. But this iteration, the Sugar Cookie Toast Crunch, takes it to a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's really good.
This is my favorite cereal. Period.
Okay, my question, Johnny, does it taste like cinnamon at all?
Yes. And it tastes like sugar cookies sprinkled with cinnamon, almost like a snickerdoodle.
Okay, so Cinnamon Toast Crunch. What if you made one without cinnamon? Oops, no cinnamon.
Well, then it wouldn't be Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It would just be Toast Crunch.
It'd be Sugar Toast Crunch. And then you'll cross out of the word cinnamon, like, oops, no cinnamon. They've done that with other brands. That might be fun for those of us who can't eat cinnamon. We're a minority, but some people
can't
might
have
like
cinnamon.
She's allergic.
Oh, that's crazy. I can't have dairy.
It's unfortunate, but it's okay.
Which is wild because it's the cereal. It's cereal and milk. So thankfully I've got, some alternatives I can have.
Right, milk alternatives.
Miserable almond
What's your
milk.
favorite milk alternative, Jenny?
Oat milk actually is. I love how creamy and it's almost like a milkshake if you get the right brand.
Yeah.
Like I really like Planet Oat a lot. That one tastes really good, but a lot of them are really high in sugar and stuff.
For those of us who are like really old and have never had oat milk, because it sounded weird. I have tried all of the milks almost. Rice, almond,
First of all, you are not old. You are not old, Aubrey. You're 15 years younger than I am.
Anyway,
you are not very old.
Gracefully over here on the back of this cereal box.
So, Jenny, what your favorite all-time brand of oat milk, so that I can try it? Because for those of us who've never tried it,
of oat milk, I just keep it simple, and I'll just do Planet Oat. You can find that most places, and they actually make there's a dark chocolate one, like a chocolate milk version that I'll buy for my daughter, and she loves it. And it really is. It's like a treat. It's like a milkshake, and even just a regular vanilla or unsweetened, like it's just a creamy. It reminds me of 2% milk. When I used to have 2% milk. That's a good version of it, because if you're gonna have like almond milk, it's so watery, and it just.
Yeah, I've got 2% in here right now because I want to try some of the cereals with regular milk and then with the alternative rice and almond that I use. So
I've never really tried rice milks before. But
it's very thin, but I do like that. I'm one of those that likes the thinner, like sweet acidophilus milk, very thin milk, but it's natural cow milk.
Milks and stuff.
All right. Well, back to my rating.
Other than milk.
Before I was interrupted, Aubrey, out of 5 bowls of cereal, Sugar Cookie Toast Crunch gets 9,000.
I agree. And 1 from me.
Out of 5, I'm going to give it a 7. I mean, that's how much I love it. It's that good. It is, and I hate that I love it so much, because that means that this box is going to be gone by the end of the week, and that is going to impact my waistline, and that's not good. I have to maintain my girlish figure, and this is not going to help. So we've got some comments, a lot of comments already this morning, because we are talking about Godzilla 1954, and people have turned out to join us in the virtual rec room.
Morning.
Including Zentron, who says, "Good afternoon, fellow cereal boxers. Coming at you live from my desk once again working on my She-Ra episode redraw. It never stops. Make it stop. Make it stop.
Never, Zentron. We love hearing about it.
Caterade Comedy. Kate Hawkins is joining us. Happy birthday, Zilla. Happy birthday, Zilla. Godzilla. Yes. November 3rd, tomorrow, is Godzilla's birthday. We're celebrating it today on the 2nd. And Harv Witt says, good morning, my friend. Good morning, Harv. Good to see you, Harvey. We haven't seen you in a while, so it's good to see you in the virtual rec room. And Harv Witt says, really? Does that mean they've taken out the Halloween-themed cereals as well now, or some of them still out waiting to be... Oh, I'm sure you can find some, Harv. Go out to Walmart, go out to Kroger. I mean, they came in huge pallets this year. You know, in previous years, it's been hard to find those monster cereals because they sell out so fast. This year, they were everywhere and stacked high. So I'm sure you can still find some. Yeah.
They're probably on sale somewhere.
Absolutely. Go to Ollie's. Get them for $1.99 a box. Do you have Ollie's in New Jersey, Jenny?
I think we do. Like, I've heard of it, but I just only heard of it recently. I've never been to one, but I've gotten a circular for an Ollie's, so there's got to be one in my area.
Yeah.
But
you
I've
need
never...
to go.
I feel like we were talking about it last week, and I was like, what is that? Because I've never been. Yeah.
It's a magical place. And Harvey Witt II says, really? Please, I enjoyed eating a banana in my cereal bowl. Well, then you're going to love Aubrey's Special K.
Oh, the yogurt pieces. Are they like real little yogurt bits? I was wondering.
They're really, really small, but the banana bits are like, they're really big. Like, it's almost the same size as some of the flakes. Really big.
That is big, yeah.
So,
for like an inclusion in a cereal. Yeah.
And it adds to the crunch.
Sounds good.
Because it's freeze-dried. It's like those chips, so they're not falling apart. So you get that like pop of banana flavor, but not fake banana.
That sounds nice.
All right. We got a great comment from one of our new patrons, Sandra Noel. Rocking my Frankenberry still this morning before work, but tired and beat from dancing at Cyndi Lauper last night.
I love that.
Awesome. She rocks so hard still at 70. So she saw Cyndi Lauper live last night. Was that
so cool?
That is so awesome.
Was that in Nashville, Sandy? I didn't know she was in concert here last night. If it was, but that's awesome. I would love to see Cyndi Lauper. This is her farewell tour.
Is it?
Yeah. Yep.
She's one of them legendary, like, you know, singers. Like, she's up there. She's Cher, you know, she's Cyndi Lauper. She's one of them.
And she's still got it.
Oh, yeah.
She's beautiful.
Talking about a fashion icon, this lady. Like,
I
before it was
I
cool to wear neon and lace, she was doing it.
Yeah. Well, I love Cyndi Lauper. She's beautiful. She's fit. Her personality is just phenomenal. Her voice is still peak. So what a great experience, Sandy. I am glad that you got to do that. Clyde Hall is joining us this morning. Clyde Hall is the secret producer of this show. I think I'm going to just have to hire him. He says, good morning, Kaiju Celebration Boxers. And Drew Milding is joining us, says, is this episode about Kaiju number 8? No, it's about Godzilla. Gojira, the original.
The original.
Yes, the original. And while we're thinking about originals, we need to thank the people who make this show possible. Our Cereal Box Super Friends. They are our supporters on patreon.com/cerealboxpodcast. And sponsorship levels start at $1, but at $2, you start getting all kinds of cool exclusives, like a link to join us live on stage this morning. Our camera, your camera, and you can join us. Our $5 and $10 patrons get exclusive merch, and our VIP patrons get to host their own show.
Yes, and we appreciate all of you.
Yes, we do. We cannot do this show without you. We don't deserve your support, but we appreciate it greatly. And the show is also brought to you by the Tales of the Decoverse series, my book series, available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever you get books. And Jenny, I've never read it myself, but all of the reviews say that this series is phenomenal. And we are also brought to you by New South Pro Wrestling, and you can catch their show tonight in Priceville, Alabama. The saga continues at the Priceville Civic Center, and bell time is at 7:30. So that's awesome. Well, ladies, I need to do something real quick. So while I'm doing this, y'all vamp for just a minute. And I just realized I forgot to bring up our giveaway tool for our giveaway this morning. So I'm going to do that. So you guys vamp for just a minute.
Hey, Aubrey, can you tell me what vamp means?
Don't make me giggle, and I have no idea. I guess he wanted us to have a little chat without him.
Okay, you know what? So, I'm going to share these little things I found.
Yeah.
They're super cute. It's more little tiny stuff, guys. I love tiny things, like little miniatures, but this is cereal related too. It is Postal Gripe. I'm clumsy, by the way. Postal Gripe Nuts. Look at that.
Magnet?
Stays crunchy. No, it's not even a magnet. I don't even know. Like, that's such a good idea. I could put a little magnet.
You should. I bought one that is a little magnet. I showed it off last year. Those are cute.
Well,
instead of post, it's postal.
So you segued right into our next segment, Jenny, without even knowing it. Prizes from the cereal box, aka new loot. And and so you're showing off the mini magnets. Is that what they are?
No, they're just like these little miniatures I find from little wacky packages. But this guy is just adorable. And Aubrey just gave me the best idea to put a little miniature magnet on the back. So that way I can put it on my fridge. That is so smart. But then I'm like, I'm also like big on not messing up my little collectibles. So it might just stay in a drawer. And I just still stare at it.
The gripe.
You need a little shelf behind you to show all your miniatures off.
Yes, I'm waiting for my shelf. Absolutely.
Grape nuts.
How adorable, right? And Unlucky Charms.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, no, I love that one. Oh, my gosh. It's so gross and cute.
And look at his little face. I know. I love it. Wacky Packages. The guy that makes the art for this, I believe he's the same guy who does the art right now for the little sicko kids. Oh, I can't. Garbage Pail Kids. My buddies.
Like, I loved those when I was little. Yes.
Like, I've got, like, you guys, this is my brand. Like, I love all this stuff. Look at that.
That's fantastic.
And the back of this box, though, how fun.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I've never tried that cereal.
Time.
Is that a cereal?
It actually was, and it was edible.
Is this from Funko?
No. This was actually from FYE. I got this.
Okay.
It had a toy inside, like there was collectible cards.
Yes.
I've got another of this as well that I've never shared, actually, of a different brand.
That's pretty fantastic.
But
that's pretty fantastic.
Kids, like, yeah, I'm all about, like, I love that sicko stuff, the gross out, like, things from.
All right, because I don't, so that's perfect. That's perfect. So this segment, for those of you who are just joining us, is part of the Saturday morning experience from our youth when we reach into the cereal box and pull out the prize. So Jenny has shown her mini toy prizes. I've got a great prize. This is our feature because this week we were sent 3 copies of Kaiju Unleashed by Sean Pryor. In celebration of Godzilla's birthday, this is a gorgeous hardcover book that takes you through the history, not just of Godzilla, but all of the kaiju movies internationally. Godzilla, Gamera. It has the movie posters, all of the production notes. It goes all the way up to 2023 with Godzilla and Kong and the Apple TV show Monarch, which I loved. It has a section just on the allies like Rodan and Mothra. There is a whole section on the other kaiju from other countries, like South Korea and India, and even the American kaiju movies, like the three forms of Daimajin or Daimajin, like a giant rock samurai kaiju. There's a whole section on Ultraman, and we're going to be talking about Ultraman next week, or maybe the week after. The Frankenstein Jr. and War of the Gargantuan. This book is amazing. It goes into the contemporary stuff, like Pacific Rim has full catalog of all of the animated kaiju shows, like more recently Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, which is fantastic, by the way, if you've not seen it. And this is just an amazing resource for any kaiju fan. And guess what? We're giving it away. Here's all you have to do. This is really easy. Every comment you make from this point on, you are going to include hashtag Kaiju Krunch. So hashtag Kaiju Krunch. So it looks like this. So that's the hashtag Kaiju Krunch. Include that hashtag in your comments from here on out. And at the end of the show, we will run our giveaway. We'll randomize it, and everyone who uses that hashtag is entered to win. And one of you is going to win one of the two other copies of this. The third copy is going to be given away randomly to one of our Cereal Box Super Friends on Patreon. And anyone at any sponsorship level is eligible to win. We are going to give it away free. So, the URL is scrolling along the bottom, patreon.com/cerealboxpodcast. And join Patreon. And I accidentally bumped myself from the stage. So join Patreon and you'll be entered to win Kaiju Unleashed automatically. How cool is that?
It's amazing. I love that book. The book was, for those of you that couldn't see and were just listening from the podcast, he was turning through the pages and there was just so many I was noticing old pictures, like behind the scenes bits, things that like someone who's a collector would really appreciate, and little notes I noticed from say directors and like the artists on set. Like that is just such a great piece to have in your collection.
Yes.
I'm not even kidding. I think I even commented myself. I was like, I'm so jealous of the winners already. Like that book is.
Well, in Zentron,
really
he's first in. He says hashtag Kaiju Krunch. So y'all add that hashtag to your comments, and you will automatically. No, it's our segment.
I know, but it should be a real cereal.
It should be a cereal. It should be a cereal. I can't believe they've never done a Godzilla cereal. I think Kaiju Krunch would be a huge winner.
And it should
Can we not make it
green.
corn? I don't want corn. I want
but it should be
corn.
green.
I don't want it wheat.
Oh no.
No,
maybe
wheat.
rice, like a rice.
Rice.
Could be rice. Yeah, we can meet in the middle there, because wheat is inflammatory. Wheat makes my joints hurt.
You have gluten
wheat makes
problem?
you fat. Yeah, wheat makes you fat.
And corn makes me have problems. Corn
You've got
and
all sorts of
high fructose corn syrup.
allergies here, people.
Corn and
I
corn
can't have
syrup
dairy.
very bad for me. I can't
Yeah.
drink soda. The stuff that he's drinking right now.
Yes,
No,
I would never. That's diet soda too. Like
I wouldn't drink
It's
either.
my
The
only
fake
vice.
sugar
but
and the
as-
high.
yeah.
It's my only vice. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't chew. I don't hang with women who do. But I do drink Diet Coke.
I don't hang with women who do.
I
Like your
smoke
rap there,
cigar-
John.
I smoke cigars and I drink rice milk. So
Look, a rice-based cereal for Kaiju Crunch. I'm all on board for that.
That sounds so good.
General
With
Mills,
marshmallows.
General Mills, and Post. I know you're watching us because I get their messages. They watch us. So General Mills or Post, we need to do a collaboration. Kaiju Crunch cereal.
Ooh, yes.
Rice-based cereal.
Right. Kids
Bring
love
a
monsters.
rice-based kaiju.
Imagine just
Look.
like a cereal company coming out with its own cartoon, even because it's not unheard of. They've done it before.
Oh,
And
they
they
need
would-
to partner with them. Definitely.
That would be a great cartoon too. Just
Yeah.
call it Kaiju Crunch.
There you go. Every week, let's see the bad guys get crunched. I feel like that's like
You
very
heard
sweet.
it first here.
Yeah. David Walsh, who is also Zentron on Facebook, says, boom, hashtag Kaiju Crunch. And
Doubling down, bro.
Harvey Witt II says, wow, I remember the Godzilla movies.
Dude,
Well, you're going to take a walk with us back in time to relive the original, the first Godzilla movie. But before we do that, Aubrey, do you have any prizes from your cereal box?
I do not. I was going to have something and I just ended up realizing that I had a whole Halloween event that I just had to do. We got set up, we got all dressed up, we got some pictures on my Instagram and my Facebook. And then the rain decided to take over our town. And we had wind advisories. The tents were going to blow away. So the authorities at BE said, everybody stay safe. We don't want the kids getting whacked with the tent because it gets blown away like dun, 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 dun. We had tornado style wind going down our tornado alley
that is so
on
cute.
Halloween night. So last night, even though there was a slight advisory, which there was only slight, and we got good weather, we all set up. And some of us, 15 lucky people, were able to carry on from our tents from the night before, limited supply of space. And we all set up and I painted faces all night and my friend dressed up. So also I'm Gaelic, so I celebrated Sam Hain that way. So,
Fun.
it's still fall season for me. But I will say that watching this after having been on the podcast for a year, it was definitely tricks and treats. And I'm looking forward to talking about the movie.
Yeah, we're going to get into it in just a minute. Actually, that is a great segue. And before we do that, David Walsh, Zentron, says, hitting all the Facebook smileys, by the way. Oh, hashtag Kaiju Crunch. So that is fantastic. What he is doing helps us out a lot. Everyone who is watching, and if you're watching on YouTube, we love you watching on YouTube. But we are not monetized on YouTube. We are monetized on Facebook, which means when you watch us on Facebook and you give us a thumbs up, a heart, a smiley face emoji, if you post a comment on the Facebook feed, we get a little spiff, a little couple of pennies, but a lot of pennies add up and help us pay for this broadcast excellence. So if you would do that for us, that would be awesome. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Kaiju Crunch presents Godzilla 1954. And here is the tale of the tape. Godzilla, also pronounced Gojira, is a 1954 Japanese epic kaiju film directed and co-written by Ishiro Honda, with special effects by E.G. Subarara. Subarara. That's easy for you to say. Produced and directed by Toho Company Ltd. And it is the first film in the Godzilla franchise. This started it all. The film stars Akira Takarada, Momoko Kochi, Akihiko Hirata, and Takashi Shimura, with Hiroru Nakajimi and Tatsumi Tezuka as Godzilla. They were the original Godzilla in the suit. And in the film, Japanese authorities deal with the sudden appearance of a giant monster whose attacks trigger fears of nuclear holocaust in post-war Japan. And basically, this film was entered into production after a Japanese-Indonesian co-production collapsed, because originally this was supposed to be a giant octopus before the filmmakers decided on a dinosaur-inspired creature. And Godzilla pioneered a form of special effects called suitmation, in which a stunt performer wearing a suit interacts with miniature sets. Principal photography ran for 51 days, and special effects photographies ran for 71 days. That is lightning fast production, ladies and gentlemen. Godzilla premiered in Nagoya on October 27th, 1954, but it received a nationwide Japanese release on November 3rd, and November 3rd is now known in Japan as Godzilla Day, and it is his birthday, and that's why we are celebrating it today, because our show is not on November 3rd. It is on November 2nd this year. So, ta-da!
Yes, Godzilla not just being like so old, thank you Godzilla, but also Guinness World's record as the longest running film franchise in history.
New day, first day with your new tongue?
Apparently. So that being the case, Johnny, you know, you should be amongst a huge set of people that are Godzilla fans.
Yes.
And if anybody has been watching for a year, they know that I was not a huge Godzilla fan. I knew of Godzilla. I knew of King Kong first and was a King Kong fan originally. And now I am a Gamera hardcore all the way because of this podcast. But I have to say, if you know Japanese film at all, which I do love Japanese film, and I also love anime thereby. I will say that this is one of the, though it is the first, it is one of my favorite now. I have to say, I thought with the rough exterior, the creation, these storyboards are gorgeous.
Yeah,
they really are.
The time it came from, we got to think about that. Like the time in film it came from was enormous. Yes, the he looks so rough and plastic, but for the time it was epic. It was so epic.
I love that.
You know,
it's just a figure.
What was that, Jenny?
I said I love it because it's just like a figure. It's like, like me here with my miniatures. Like,
some of it is.
Like,
some of it's a giant rubber suit.
It's a guy in a suit. For the most part. Now, they did use a combination of miniatures with stop motion photography, and they did use a puppet in certain scenes. You can tell by the way it moves that it's a hand puppet. But the artistry is gorgeous. Everything about this movie was just gorgeous. And I hadn't seen this since I was a kid. And I saw the American version, which was called Godzilla King of the Monsters, which edited it pretty heavily for American audiences, and it inserted Raymond Burr as an American character to add some detail and add scenes that weren't in the original, just for American audiences. Most people, myself included, do consider that 1956 reissue an inferior version of the film. This movie was just absolutely gorgeous. And I can guess, Aubrey, that the reason you probably like this one the best is because this is not really a science fiction movie. It is a horror movie.
Yeah, so I like the fact that it takes what was a conglomeration of so many artists, because the man who who originally wrote the idea for this movie, when he was trying to get the information from it, Tanaka, the producer, didn't want to use all of this gentleman's information because he went very political with it. And so one of the things I love is that is it Kamaya is his name? Shigeru Kamaya. He was hired to write the story by Tanaka in May of 1954. May. So you think about when this happened. Tanaka got the idea on a flight. He's like, I want to do this. And he's like, I got to talk to this person, this person, this person. He hired 3 different sets of people. We had the screenwriting. They had to alter it. Because Kamaya had so much of a critical stance when it came to the fact they just got done with a war. They just got done bringing people back to the country that had been displaced. And he wanted to put that in there. He wanted it to be severely political. But the gentleman that was hired to do a lot of the work, he went on and said, I wanted to Honda. He wanted to tone it down. He wanted to make it so the story that was told was heavier on the H-bomb and the science of it, because he loved the science and the unusual parts of Godzilla and how it was bringing something in that was different. So when they scrapped the idea of the giant octopus and they scrapped the idea of making like just a romance, and they started leaning heavy on the H-bomb stuff and the radioactive and what is this? He was intrigued by it. He was like, all the other directors were like, no, it's not serious. It's not serious. It's not serious. And he was like, oh, I like this a little bit. I'm gonna step in here. And he's known for his wartime films. So that's why you see a lot of foot soldiers and trucks in this version of this, because he was leaning heavy on what he was good at. The shots with the movement, with the soldiers. There are so many people. Oh, and the scene in the beginning. I'm sorry. If you don't like nudity, the beach scene has some tribal people, male and female, that are not clothed.
Wait, what? I missed this. I missed this. Now I have to go back and watch it again, just so that I can be educated.
Okay.
All right. So wait. Before you go on, Aubrey, you have done an amazing amount of research. It is obvious that you really enjoyed this film, and I love that. But
I loved hearing it from her too, because hearing a different thought. You were kind of telling me more about how the film was made as opposed to the film's story.
Yeah,
well, I like that a lot, because it gave me a different perspective to think about now with the movie. Because as someone watching it for the first time, I had to watch it a bunch of times because I was just not, I wasn't feeling it, and mine was dubbed over. It was not it really wasn't. So yeah, it was but what I got from that, the main thing that I enjoyed the relationship between the father and his kids. I was that stood out the most to me. He was really trying to step away and kind of just shield them, and then he couldn't, so he had to come back and take so
he
had to take care of his situation. He had to handle things.
This actor is Takashi Shimura as
Beautiful
Dr. Kiyohi, and he, if he looks familiar to you, because I kept watching this going, I have seen him in something else. He is one of Japan's most revered actors, but he was also the lead character in Seven Samurai.
Yes,
which is considered one of the greatest epic films of all time. And so, yeah, and he was really fantastic. This is the scene where they're, he fears Godzilla. He knows about Godzilla. He warns them that Godzilla is coming. But, you can see he's really sad that not just that Godzilla is destroying everything, but that he knows that they're going to have to destroy Godzilla
Oh yeah, that's his struggle the whole movie. He wants them to research him, to understand him. He doesn't want him to kill. It's a scientist dealing with the struggle inside him of humanity needs to exist, but this thing is amazing and we need to study it and understand it. You know,
almost like that was another like his fourth child. Like I was like, okay, like that's
exactly,
one,
Jenny.
You know, like that's kind of what I got from it.
Yeah,
I was like, oh.
Yeah, and Takashi Shimura actually revisits Godzilla in 1955. He is in Godzilla Raids Again. So if you love his acting, check him out in Godzilla Raids Again. The other actors, we had Akira Bikubi, I believe, and he was also a very important to the Godzilla franchise because he was not an actor. He was a composer for almost every one of the pieces of music they did for him. Akihiko Hirata, he was in King Kong versus Godzilla, Terror of Mechagodzilla, and Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. So you can see a lot of these actors again in other stories about Godzilla, including our female depiction. She actually comes back in, I think it was 2000 is hers in Mothra versus Godzilla. I think she comes back.
And she was also in Godzilla Final Wars.
Oh, is that the one? That might be the one.
Yeah. And I mean, she was just absolutely stunning on screen. Maybe one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in a movie. Just right up there with Lana Turner or Marilyn Monroe. Just
very elegant.
Yeah, just very gorgeous. And
you could tell she cared so much. Like she put a lot of work into that piece, like just to be that lady on camera.
Yeah, the performances, the writing, the dialogue, the performances were all fantastic. I hate, Jenny, that you watched it dubbed because it's always better to watch it with the subtitles and hear the original Japanese inflection and tone. It's so rich. As a matter of fact, I dare say that even if you don't speak Japanese and even if you don't have the subtitles, just from the tonality and the inflection of the voices, you can understand the story going on.
It.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel that too.
It is different. I feel like if you like a movie that's like this, you can watch it both ways because then you get to hear the original voice actors, but you also get to hear how it would sound if it was translated in the new. And sometimes there's different versions that give you a clarity to it. As far as the artwork goes in the background, a clearer, newer version. That's why it's okay to buy the old one. And when the silver, gold, or collector's edition comes out, to get another one, because they might have refined the film enough to, like, some parts that were blurry could be clearer, with editing.
And they did. So I watched this. I own it from the Criterion collection.
Okay.
I wish I'd brought that downstairs. It's up in the media room. I got gifted to us during our second season the complete Criterion collection Godzilla films, 27 on Blu-ray. And what Criterion did is they went back in and they cleaned up all of the special effects from the original negative. They remastered everything. So I watched it in the remastered version. Ooh. And it was just absolutely gorgeous. Every frame had this clarity and this depth and it was just absolutely fantastic. Now, I will tell you this. Because it is more of a horror movie, I did struggle to finish it. I had to watch it in two settings. Or it could just be that open enrollment at the day job and doing ghost tours for spooky season wore me out so badly because I fell asleep. I fell asleep during the first setting. And that's not like me for a movie to begin with, and especially with a Godzilla movie. I'm like usually have rapt attention. But I really appreciated the visuals, everything about this. Now, one of the things, Aubrey, and you'll probably have some notes on this, is the scientist who has the solution. This in his hands. This is it was pronounced. I don't want to get this wrong. His name was Shirazawa, Dr. Shirazawa, and he had created this device, this technology that he called an oxygen destroyer, and that it basically pulled the oxygen out of water and turned it into a highly corrosive acid. And Emiko, our female lead, knew about this for about half the film, but she was sworn to secrecy. And so she carried this burden. There was this devastating weapon that existed. And when they go to Shirazawa and ask him to use the oxygen destroyer against Godzilla, he says no, because he knows it's a terrible weapon. And he's afraid that if the government knows that this weapon has been developed, that they will seize it and they will use it for the wrong reasons. And I thought that was a very interesting position, because, you know, he's a scientist who develops a weapon, and he says weapon of mass destruction. And even though Godzilla threatens not just Japan, but the entire world, he's hesitant to use his weapon that he knows will solve the problem and destroy Godzilla.
Well, the reason why they leaned heavy on that is, again, the wartime director that they hired, he had already been done with war, and he was interested in the dynamic of proposing peace through not necessarily bad talking the government, but kind of talking down about earth-destroying solutions to things.
Well, this was critical of the Japanese government, and most really good Godzilla films are.
Without actually being that way, because otherwise they wouldn't be allowed to do a lot of that early. So it was a way of talking about things without talking about them, by really leaning heavy on that, at least according to the description of a lot of the info that I had.
Yeah,
it was as far as they were willing to push the envelope, because it was supposed to be more political than that. It was supposed to be even heavier on it.
Understand, 1954, the American government was still in control of Japan.
Mm.
We had rebuilt Japan. We were overseeing their government. They were independent, but we were the boots on the ground. And really, it wasn't a restriction of freedom. It was part of the Japanese polite culture. The Japanese have this culture that is very decorum heavy. You know, you don't dishonor your neighbors. You respect them. And while there was heavy criticism to be had over the Japanese government, because this whole film is an allegory for the bombing of Nagasaki and Hiroshima. That's what this is all about. And many people believed and felt like Japan, the government, let that happen by embroiling them in a war that they had no business being in and refusing to surrender when they still could. And so that's what this film was really commentating on, without coming right out and saying, Emperor Hirohito, you doomed us. So
something interesting to mention, changing the subject a little, back towards the Godzilla. So when the humanoid form of Godzilla was created, the design of it, they settled on the dinosaur-like design. Kazuyoshi Abe was hired earlier in design for Godzilla, but his ideas were later rejected since Godzilla looked too humanoid, mammalian, and it had a head shaped like a mushroom cloud. That was he was retained, however, Abe was retained to help draw the film's storyboard. So when you see the storyboards, that is his artwork, even though they did not keep the more mammalian version that they had originally and earlier on. Tanaka contemplated the many versions of Godzilla, and so while they were doing that, they named him Godzilla. But previously, they had many different versions of that. The one that they did decide on was Gojira. And so that's a combination, actually, in case you didn't know, of the Japanese words gorilla and whale.
Oh,
so, I did not know that.
I didn't know that.
That's what that's a combination of Goria, or which is the Gojira. That is
Gojira.
That's gorilla.
That one, the one screenshot that you kept putting up, it was very like it looked like very old school traditional tattoo style. Like, yes, like you knew exactly. Like every time I look at that, it's giving dragon, like that.
Yes,
traditional.
You know what? I've been thinking about getting a tattoo on my back. Wouldn't this be epic?
That could be something. In a good way. I always say the weirdest thing.
I could be something. This.
No, it is. It's super interesting. I like it. It just have to be super interesting. Everybody's so interesting. No, it would just have to be reworked.
Jenny,
you know what I mean? I love that though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to correct.
Oh my gosh! Jenny just got bumped from the studio. What happened? Oh my gosh! Where did Jenny go?
You'll miss me.
That's fair.
Jenny has some more snacks.
I do. I have this beef jerky. I was like craving something else this morning, but it's I opened it like a silly person upside down. It's that Jack Link's red light, green light beef jerky from the Squid Game show.
All right.
Talking about more
Asian from Godzilla.
There you go. So yeah. So just to correct myself, Momoko, the actress, it wasn't 2000. The last movie that she was in for Godzilla was Godzilla versus Destroya in 1995. So I wanted to correct myself on that.
All right.
Little tidbit of information there.
Very cool. Well, so Aubrey obviously really got into this movie. I love that.
Same,
I love that.
I love learning. Like, I'm hearing it now. Like, if you guys are fans of Godzilla, like you're loving this episode right now, listening to Aubrey and Johnny right now go off on this. Like, because I'm learning little bits I didn't know, even from just watching the original film. Like, and I watched it actually once with the original, like, was it in Japanese? And then that was really hard because it was subtitled or dubbed down below in Italian, and I was like, what? Like, I was just not getting what I needed, but it wasn't bad. I could feel the emphasis that were put on words, and I wasn't understanding it the way you'd think I would.
Well, that's hysterical. Where did you find it dubbed in Italian?
I know.
No, like I was like, what? And then I was like, this is not
or
right.
Subtitled
and
in
then
Italian.
got it. Subtitled in Italian, and then the one I got after was in English, and I was like, wow, this is not. The voices were not right.
Now, so yeah, the dubbed voice. I hate dubbed foreign films. I always prefer to watch any foreign TV or film in subtitles. And a lot of people say, wow, I want to watch the movie, not read it. But Aubrey, you can probably attest to this. The more you watch of subtitled properties, the better you get at, reading the subtitles very quickly so that you're not averting from the visuals.
It's really okay. So it depends on the person, depends on the reader. I was an avid reader as a child. As an adult, I read sporadically because of my busy schedule. But whenever I have downtime, and I do occasionally. Most of us read online now. We don't read a lot of books and magazines as much. But I was just a reader. So if you're not a reader, I found that they do not usually prefer the subtitles. But I enjoy it because, one, it's kind of funny because they're saying one thing and, you've got the other coming in there. But also if you go in and you apologize or you appreciate the voices, you're not just the voiceover. You'll get a different experience because you got to remember the directors are choosing the actor for the screen based on the audio, not on the translation later. So the fact that this actor might have this really gruff voice, but he's this little stout guy, you know, that's going to change how you feel about the role that he's playing because he's trying to embody that character. So the voice is part of the character. So you do miss out on a little bit when you have to have a dubbed or a voiceover. But I always suggest doing both. In this case, it's helpful with the older movies, especially the black and white, because you get a better feel for the vibe of the character and the information that their character is portraying with their body language comes more clearly with the audio. That's just me. So, but I do both. I do Japanese anime where it's American and people go, "Ooh, that's not real," because you know you've got American voices. And then I'll go back and I'll watch the whole thing again in Japanese and read the words, and I'm like, it's interesting both ways to me.
Yeah, it's a different experience for sure. And I agree with Zentron David Walsh, who says subs all the way. As a matter of fact, I watch English movies and TV with subtitles on because you pick up on things that you may not hear that appear in the subtitles. And because in contemporary culture, we've lost the art of enunciation, and even English speakers mumble or they don't enunciate. And I'm like, I don't know what they just said. So anyway,
on a lighter note, though, it's kind of funny too when they don't sync up. Like, I don't know about anybody else. I was Mystery Science Theater geek. So I was that one that was like, oh, I'm going to go watch old movies and listen to them talk about them and then make jokes that don't even pertain to them. And then I'm going to go watch the old black and white movies because I just was introduced to a black and white movie I never saw. So this is what we do here on the podcast too, is we introduce you to new things you may never seen about or new to you at least.
Yeah. And that's
Absolutely.
one of our main goals. And Aubrey, speaking of that dubbing not being in sync and being funny, I think of Kung Fu movies.
Oh, yes.
Where it's like,
That's what I thought of when she was saying that.
I will kill you. You know? Anyway, there was something else I wanted to add about this film, and now I forget what it is. It will come to me, but we got to show off some merchandise. Clyde Hall sent us some pictures. I did not know that this game existed.
So cool.
That's adorable.
Yeah, this is the Godzilla game. Will you survive the mighty monsters attack? We got Ben Cooper Halloween costume.
Oh my god!
Right.
Oh my god! As a cosplayer, I love that. Love it.
Yeah, isn't that fantastic? The old vinyl, flame retardant vinyl.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is funny because, you know, Godzilla is shooting flames out of his mouth. So you have to have a flame retardant vinyl. There was another Godzilla game from Ideal. And I was just holding this up. In my opinion, the greatest toy of the 1970s, 1979's Godzilla. This was, Jenny, this was 14 inches tall. And you know what? Other people have said that about this toy.
It's like an avocado with flex.
No, he does look like a little bit like a gorilla. Look at that face.
Well, look how little he is in your hand, though.
Yeah, well, no, this is the replica. Okay. So
I'm like, why do I feel like he's
So
bigger?
yeah, no, the original was 14 inches. It was giant. It was my favorite action figure of all time. And the original, his fist, you pressed a button and his fist flew off. But it has a lever in the back, and you press the lever and he spits the fire out. He's got the fire tongue. And that 14-inch, I mean, it was part of the, no, it was more than 14. It might have been 18 inches. It was part of the Shogun Warriors series. And I took this thing with me everywhere. It did not survive my childhood. I love the, and I'm on the hunt for one that has both all three, the fist, the tongue, and the toe claws intact. If anyone can find me one under $500, let me know, because I want it. I'm desperate for it. And of course, 1979 also saw the publication of Godzilla, King of Monsters by Marvel Comics.
Nice.
I've got this original issue from 1979, and I also have the facsimile reprint that came out a couple of months ago. Phenomenal merchandise. And of course, you know, Godzilla started this whole movie started a cultural phenomenon, a franchise. And in Japan, Godzilla was gifted Japanese citizenship.
Yeah.
He
I
is an
remember-
official citizen of Japan.
I love that. They've taken on.
I'm not gonna lie. Special K, I am confused. Your yogurt clusters. You were asking me earlier, Jenny. You were like, how are the yogurt clusters? I'm like, actually, I don't even know if I've had one yet.
Oh, they're not in there?
I'm weirded out by it a little
Maybe
bit.
they're just at the bottom. I did
notice.
notice you were going back. I was like, that must be really good cereal because she keeps going back for it.
Okay, we're gonna. Oh, they're in there.
They're just at the bottom.
They're just like tiny.
I have noticed that Aubrey has eaten 2 bowls of this cereal on the show, and she just poured a third. That is unheard of
She's
for
really
Aubrey.
liking this.
Aubrey normally takes 2 bites and is done.
Okay. The yogurt clusters don't taste like yogurt. Maybe they do when they dissolve into the liquid, and they just dissolve, and I didn't know they were dissolving. But they taste like dry yogurt.
Supposed to shake.
Well,
How are you supposed to shake up a cereal bag? No, you get the box and you just pour it. It's supposed to come like very nicely mixed inside.
No, they're all like not mixed, and there's hardly any pieces.
It's okay. I was over here eating beef jerky and cereal together. It's okay,
I love it.
guys.
I love it. But here's the question, Jenny.
Yes.
Will beef jerky cereal?
I don't know.
No.
This one.
Why don't we
No.
find out right
I
now?
was eating it. I was mixing them together. And just so you guys know, I was thinking that, and I'm gonna let you know. It depends on the cereal. This is a specific jerky though. This says the flavor is Korean barbecue seasoning. So it's got like that gochujang in it.
Ooh.
I can flip it without it making a mess. It's really yummy actually.
I love
I don't
Korean
typically go
barbecue.
for this brand, but I just wanted to try this flavor. But with the cinnamon cereal, it's not so bad, but you'd have to have really tiny pieces. I mean, if you're into that paleo meat diet, like yeah.
There you go.
Look. Will
It's
it
not
cereal?
Meat and cinnamon together.
Does it
cinnamon
work?
crunch.
To me, it works, but I like weird stuff. I like
That
sweet
sounds
and
good,
savory
though.
together.
Well-
Once in a while snack, not just for breakfast. So now I'm gonna say it doesn't cereal.
Well, so last year when General Mills released the French Toast Crunch cereal, we tried it with bacon bits, bacon crumbles,
Ooh,
and maple
sounds
syrup,
good.
and
Is
it was life changing.
Oh my gosh, did you turn? I just had the best idea. Turn that into a treat, like a cereal bar.
Yeah,
Bacon French
that would
toast
work
treat.
too.
That would be really good.
Yeah.
And you were talking about other Godzilla items before that came out.
Uh-huh.
Comic books. Because I told you I have a lot of stuff still in my
Yeah.
boxes. I have like, I don't know if it's super rare or anything, but I have like Charles Barkley versus Godzilla comic. Have you ever
Actually,
seen that?
yes, and actually that is pretty valuable.
I have maybe a few copies. But like I forgot, like, well, not forgot, I just forgot which box it's in, honestly. But I've been trying to like look for it since you like said this. I was like, I have a little Godzilla prize like over here. But yeah, like I specifically remember, do you guys remember this story, Godzilla versus Charles Barkley?
So I did not pick up that book when it came out because one, I'm not a sports fan. I'm not an NBA fan. I'm not a Charles Barkley fan. And the whole concept of
Johnny,
Charles
wrestling
Barkley
is a sport.
No, wrestling is a dramatic theatrical story about pretend sports.
But because they want you really that wrestling is really a real sport that they're just pretending to.
Yeah, they are athletic.
It's an inception of some sort.
Yeah, they are athletic, but it's really a story.
That's what they're athletic, guys.
Yeah,
they're athletes.
No, they absolutely are.
Yeah,
but they're actors as well. Some of them.
Yes, yeah. The good ones are actors as well. But no, I just the whole concept of Charles Barkley facing off against Godzilla is so utterly ridiculous to me. I couldn't.
John, there is a magic coin involved. I mean, it gets pretty interesting, this story.
Well, maybe I'll go back and revisit
magic coin.
Because I will tell you that I do love Godzilla comics. I love Godzilla comics. And I don't normally love a franchise when it crosses genres or crosses media. But in the case of Godzilla comics, some of the best stories I've ever read are Godzilla comics. So I love them. This one was
just so funny. This is more of a comedy. Like they want it to be taken seriously, but come on, you're reading it, you're laughing the whole time. Like they know you're laughing too. They have to.
There's no way. That does not sound like it wouldn't be a little funny. It definitely sounds campy. I can't wait.
Well, so ladies, final thoughts about Godzilla 1954.
I'll give mine because I think it's a little shorter. I think it's worth a watch, especially if you're a Godzilla fan. I'm going to give it another chance when I find it like properly, ooh, I'm messy over here. properly, sub, like with the subs at the bottom for me in English. And so I can enjoy it, right? So I think it's totally worth a watch, guys. And I think it's, from what you can see though, it's an endearing story to me.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely an endearing story. It's very heartfelt about Godzilla. It's like a different take. It's not like, Godzilla. I mean, it is that.
Well, it's the original take.
It's really sweet too.
Yeah.
If you understand like kind of the emotional side of it. You gotta be grown up to get that.
Aubrey, final thoughts.
With the film that earned $183 million when it first came out, distributing just in rentals, I will say, it deserved to make Film of the Year. When it came out, I believe that it's more than just a guy in a rubber suit. For those of you who don't know about kaiju, it's a good story in the background. There are real humans involved that have real feelings and they have real interests, and it's not lazy writing when it comes to that. There's actually an intriguing story. So there's something for everything, even though people are like, oh, Godzilla, that's a big dinosaur destroying things movie, right? Now, a little bit, yeah. But if you have the patience to look through the whole movie, there's some great music scores. So there's a good composer. There is an interesting set from moment to moment. You see beautiful waters. You see interesting pieces that they've made that get destroyed quite frequently. And then there are some great actors. There really, really are some great actors in there that you can see in other movies, as Johnny and I mentioned as well. And for those of you like Jenny who are just new to the kaiju, I was also last year barely broke my teeth on King Kong beating his chest and stealing the lady up a building before I started watching these. And I have to say that you must pick a side. Once you start watching these movies, you must pick a favorite kaiju. I don't mind saying that I have a love-hate relationship with this Godzilla because I love the fact that he is interesting. I hate the fact that sometimes he's just a villain, but that also makes it interesting because this is not, like Johnny said, one of those other kaiju movies. He is the terror in the night. he is the thing shaking the ground and destroying your buildings and possibly eating people. We think at first he might be eating people, but then he's not. But then they talk about giving virgins away in the past. So there's some stories here. There's some stories, and I feel like if you've ever watched a Godzilla movie, this should be one of the ones you watch also.
So my final thoughts. I prefer Godzilla as a protector and not a chaotic force of nature or a horror, a destructor. And in this movie, it is a horror movie. He is all about wild destruction. And in many cases, I think it was depicted as intentional, malicious destruction. I mean, he looks at the people and then he blows his fire atomic breath on them to wipe them off. I mean, he does it intentionally. And I prefer the Godzilla who is the protector of Earth. And we see that in later movies like Destroy All Monsters, Final Wars, Godzilla versus Hedorah versus Destroya, versus Space Godzilla, Mecha Godzilla. I like the Godzilla that teams up with King Caesar and Jet Jaguar to save the planet. That's the Godzilla I prefer. If you watch this, I recommend that you go back and you watch Godzilla -1. Because Godzilla -1 is a very similar film, but it's made, last year. It won the Academy Award for Best Special Effects. It only took 70 years for Godzilla to win an Academy Award. So those of you who, are later in life, after 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, you're not a failure. It took Godzilla 70 years to make it. So you still got time. But go watch Godzilla -1 because it's basically the same story, but with contemporary filmmaking techniques and more emphasis on the human drama. In this story, the human drama is still secondary to the destruction. But in Godzilla -1, Godzilla is secondary to the human story, and it's really, really super well done. I will say that the resolution of the oxygen destroyer, I felt very much like Doctor here. I was a little bit sad, even though Godzilla was this destructive, horrific force of nature, malicious and evil. There was a part of me that was like, man, he's just doing what he was born to do. And we're destroying him in an ocean that has been turned into a bubbling vat of corrosive acid. And it was kind of. And what about all the fish in the bay? We didn't see them.
That was my worry. They're contaminating their own water. But
well, that was Sarazara's fear. That was his whole thing. He's like, this will destroy everything in the bay. Everything. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, very much worth watching from a historical perspective, from an artistic perspective. The fact that they were able to make Godzilla feel like a real breathing, living, breathing character with suits and miniatures and hand puppets is a testament to the artistry. Very much the way Jim Henson made the Muppets come to life. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I love, excuse me. I love all of that. So we're going to leave with one last comment from David Walsh, Zentron, who says, and all Godzilla -1 cost to make was 10 to 15 million, hashtag Kaiju Krunch. So much for Hollywood's 300 million budgeted blockbusters. That's right. And by the way, I'm not even going to run the giveaway tool because the only people who used the hashtag in their comments was Zentron, David Walsh. So guess what? Zentron, David Walsh, you are the winner of Kaiju Unleashed, which means
awesome.
I get to ship this overseas. Thank you, David. You're welcome.
What?
Tomorrow, I know, can you believe it? Nobody else wanted this awesome hardcover book.
That's insane.
It is insane. But tomorrow, we will be announcing on our Patreon page, our Patreon cereal box super friend who wins the other hard copy cover. So that will be drawn randomly from among our patrons. So if you're not a contributor on patreon.com, you still have time at www.patreon.com/cerealboxpodcast, and just $1 gets you entered to win. Ta-da! All right. Well, that is it for us, guys. Jenny, Aubrey, hang around after we go off the air. And if you guys like the show, do become a contributor on Patreon, patreon.com/cerealboxpodcast. If you hate our show, donate even more generously to help us improve at patreon.com/cerealboxpodcast. And we can't do it without viewers like you and audience members like you. So we appreciate that. And wherever you're watching or listening, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, like the channel, subscribe, click the notification bell so you never miss an episode. If you are listening on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or whatever audio podcast that you get your podcasts, give us a 5-star review. Make it good and help us out there. And share this with 200-300 of your closest friends and family. Tell them to come share the fun. And until the next time, make sure you follow Aubrey at Miss Kindred Ivy on Instagram. Follow Jenny at She's So Cereal. They are both posting amazing, amazing content, and you do not want to miss it. So until the next time, everybody, love you, mean it. We'll catch you on the back of the cereal box. Ta-da!
It's like Coca-Cola, Levi Strauss, Johnny Carson and Mickey Mouse. The first star was James Dean. Elvis Presley, yeah, he's still the king. Some things are only imitatable. You can't beat an original.